We're gonna be doing a hot seat. So what is a hot seat? Now, a hot seat is your opportunity to ask a burning question. And as being a part of the studio audience, the producers gave you the opportunity to submit questions in advance, and then we were gonna workshop them. And part of this, I actually was like, I'm not sure if we're gonna need hot seats because we're gonna be getting so many questions. We're not gonna, and then all of a sudden, y'all show up and ain't nobody asking questions. So I was like, thank you, sweet baby Jesus. We had some hot seats to keep this thing going. Okay, so we are actually not just gonna get into a one-on-one, we wanna work. So we set aside 7 to 10 minutes for each of these hot seats because I don't want anybody sitting down not getting the answer that they wanted. So this is what we're gonna be doing. And my mentor always says, the quality of your life is determined by the questions you ask. So, ask questions to live the type of life that you want. So, these questions came to me in advance, and we're gonna be incorporating them, and then people online can be participating, and we'll be getting real-time feedback from the production crew. So our very first hot seat, let's pass the mic on over. Let's go into Rebecca. So Rebecca, I'm gonna have you stand up. Now, Rebecca writes in the document, these are her words, I'm the owner of a mobile tutoring services company for K through 6th grade students. I believe every child is a genius at something. I figure out what their genius is and incorporate it into a customized lesson plan. This engages them, makes learning fun, their confidence boosts, and so does their grades. It's a win-win. You can find her at Intelli_G. 251 followers, following 177. Her bio reads, IntelliG, Miss Rebecca, coach and tutor for geniuses, K through 6, empowering children to succeed in and out of the classroom, free phonics course at a link below. Her question, I'm figuring out how to promote myself as the best tutoring service for kids K through 6. I'm confused if my target audience should be kids or moms. My ideal client is working full-time mom named Patty with 4 kids. Patty's son needs help learning how to read, so she reaches out to a tutoring service, me, who truly cares about her child's confidence, making learning fun, and teaches them how to read. We talked about this earlier today. How are you feeling? And so for people who are just tuning in, we said we have to create content for the child who's going to want to be engaged with it, but who are we selling to and the messaging to Patty, the mom. How are we feeling now about that?
I'm feeling a lot better, actually.
Okay.
However, I guess I want a little bit more help on the stories and the IG lives. Like,
okay.
So for the IG lives, I used to do free homework help for 20 minutes, and it would just be me alone teaching them a tutorial on something that I know. But then I felt like that wasn't really getting a lot of views. It would probably get like 3 views, and okay. So even on replay. And so I decided to have my friend's daughter come on with me. That got a little bit more views, but then after doing that for 3 months, nobody was, I guess, felt comfortable to go live with me. So I just decided, okay, I'll try to do some arts and crafts or experiments or games, and then that has been working.
Good.
And so I don't know if I should just keep going with that, or like, is there other ideas for IG Lives? Like, I don't really know, since there's not, I've looked at other tutoring companies, nobody's doing what I'm doing.
Good.
And I guess that's what's scary, because I'm like paving my own path.
So mindset shift. Nobody's doing what you're doing, and that's scary. It takes just as much energy for you to say, nobody is doing what I'm doing, and this is amazing. You choose your story. I choose what you are doing as amazing because there's a gap in the market. And you've already tested what's working well. You're saying that when I do these arts and crafts, I've seen it, so the market has spoken. Now let's go through and let's strategize what it could look like to be a little bit better. So why the tears?
Just because, first of all, I can't believe I'm here. And, well, I met you at the Father's house.
Yes.
So I mean, you know my story and like how far I've come, and yeah, I sacrificed a lot even to just get here, and so I don't know. I'm just like really happy, and I'm just feeling all the feels right now.
So here's the thing. I know why you're crying. You're not crying because of the feels, and you're not crying because you're caught up in your emotions. You're caught up because you're so passionate, and you believe that this is the thing you should be doing, and by and large, on the outside, it doesn't look like you're making any progress.
Exactly.
And for all intents and purposes, you paid a lot of money to get up here when you're not making all that money right now, but you believe that this could be the thing. And so it's you marching to the beat of your own drum, looking downright crazy to everybody else, and you stand up and you ask a question to say, I had 3 views, and I believe that this is a thing. We're not called to make sense to anybody else but to ourselves and to our dream customer. You show up again and again, and you create content for that person, and then they start paying attention. So now let's get into strategy. Now we have it all out. As a visionary, your job is to see something that nobody else sees. You've already done that. Now you have to show up when it's not fun and nobody's paying attention. So if you're saying that arts and crafts do really well, me, as a prospective mother in the future, God willing, if I have a 6th grader, I'm probably not gonna be interested in like a kindergartner project. So I would start segmenting my days. On Mondays, we're having a kindergarten project. On Tuesdays, we're having this, and I would name it super fun. So that if I was a parent of a 4th grader, I would be like, okay, Kelly, my daughter's name's not gonna be Kelly. I don't know where that came from. My parents are like, you picked a name and didn't tell us. No, her name is not Kelly, okay. Whatever her name is. It's Thursday, let's sit down and let's watch Miss Rebecca. So then we start building out what we can expect, because I don't know if I'm gonna tune in. So what is the most precious thing we all have as consumers? Anybody, throw out an idea, anybody. What? Time, time. So I don't want to take my daughter away from what she's doing on the risk that it's gonna be a 1st grade project for my 4th grade daughter, because then I'm not gonna get her back again. So strategy then becomes every Tuesday and Thursday you do something, you start naming them out super fun, and then what you do is educational story. It's raining on a summer day, moms, 5 steps to pulling something out of your pantry for a craft. Do you have pinto beans? Do you have Elmer's glue? Do you have construction paper? This is what we're doing. Boom, boom, boom. Reminding, 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 reminding. And I have a very strong feeling, and I'm gonna speak something over you, and I think it's going to scare you, but you're supposed to do the hard work right now in a local geographic area, and you're not gonna get a lot of traction. Although, when my daughter is old enough, I already told JD, I was like, yeah, Miss Rebecca. That could happen. But you have to sharpen your teeth to find out what people want, and then you're gonna take it digital. So don't get dissuaded if your business in its current state is not what you think it should be. You're going through the grit right now to make you stronger for what it will be. But you can't sell something digital if you can't sell it in person. Selling in person is so stinking hard. You figure that out, everything else is golden. So the market's spoken, they like your crafts, now we're just gonna segment. By grade, giving ideas to who the buyer is, and once you find the thing that pops, we're gonna slowly start turning it digital.
The last thing I want to say
Don't
is...
apologize. Okay. No apologies. Okay, I hate that, specifically with women. You have the room, girl. I gave you a hot seat. Take it up.
Okay, well, I just want to give other people time too, but okay, so...
This is your hot seat.
Okay, so what I'm working on right now is a reading program for kids, and I'm receiving everything that you're telling me right now about...
Cool.
About working in the geographic area that I'm in. But right now what I'm doing is also applying, so a lot of, and I didn't even think I would go in this direction, but kids that have trouble with speech, I've worked with them from the very basics. Like, right, some of them have already been in 4th grade and they still struggle. They talk like a baby sometimes, and so I have to work back with the phonics and the sounding out of the alphabet. Instead of like A is for apple, A is A, and then B, K, D. So I have to sound all of that out with them. And then when we get into like the digraphs and the trigraphs, which is like TH or AI, like they would have trouble hearing that and saying it with their mouth. So I developed hand signals for all of that. And so that's where I realized, like, oh my gosh, like all of these kids are understanding it and it's working. And so now I'm translating that into a reading program. And I guess what I guess I'm struggling because a lot of the kids that I work with, not everyone feels comfortable on camera, and I completely respect that, and I always ask them for permission, and their parent, obviously, and I have a media release form. I only have one child that is comfortable doing that, so like showcasing that, and then eventually, like, I will reach out and do a beta test on the program itself. So is that okay to keep on showing the same child, or?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, so it's okay to show the same child again and again. Does it make you have more street credibility when you show multiple children applying the same? Of course, so there's that. So your next objective would be, can I use students who aren't paying me? And is it going to take time and energy from me to do it for somebody for free in exchange for the content I get to share? And if the answer is yes, then you go through and do that. Now, if you're saying, I've tried offering it and ain't nobody around, then it's time for you to think outside the box. It's time for you to volunteer outside of your specialty. I don't know if you're still going to the Father's House. The Father's House is a church that my sister started in OC. Shout out to my sister. And we met there randomly. My sister just started the church. We went there. We were like, oh my God, this is amazing. We met. Do you still go there? Do you participate?
I stopped going there.
I don't mean to call you out. This is like weird.
But okay.
Okay, so wherever you go that you are around children, it's time for you to step up and take time away outside of your profession to build trust and credibility with parents who see you outside of the thing you're trying to sell them.
Okay.
And you sit down with them and you hang out and parents ask about who you are and what you do. And you say, this is what I do. That's so interesting. You'd be like, hey, like if you ever want, we can chat for 15 minutes. Don't go into the hard sell. We can chat for 15 minutes. Like, okay, cool. Would you ever want that? Well, no, not right now. No problem. What we could do, if you just want to test it out, is I can do a 45-minute tutoring. I'll bring a camera and I'll show you how you can do it. And then I'll give you the video and I'll share clips of it online. And then the mom gets I didn't even know like phonetically. Like I was like doing it in Spanish. I'm like, be. Like I didn't even know it was like A is for and B. Like I didn't get that, I didn't know that. And I think to myself, that's interesting. And then if in exchange for their child's time, they get a video that they can implement with their child and you get content that you can share on social, I just think you're gonna build out a tiny little market that then turns into lead acquisition. Download this PDF, create a video on your computer, put it on Vimeo or YouTube, behind, make it private, and then only send that link to people who opt into your list to say, moms, are you looking to teach your kids how to not talk baby talk past 9 years old or whatever. And then you send them like a little thank you note, a PDF, and here's the link to your video. You start creating content that positions you as an authority in speech pathology, education, and reading, and now people see you in a very different light.